Our next bit of footage highlights the B-50 carrier aircraft in flight with an X-2 on an aborted mission. Aborted flights were not at all uncommon during the X-2 program, given the high degree of complexity inherent in the research plane. Of particular interest, there were two aborted attempts between X-2 flights 19 and 20, both of these with Ivan Kinchelow at the controls. These attempts are noteworthy due to the fact that the Air Force was approaching the end of their contracted time with the aircraft before they were due to turn it over to the National Advisory Council on Aeronautics. The Air Force had hoped to chalk up a major altitude or speed record before the handover occurred. There were two B-50 aircraft used as launch and ferry planes during the X-2 program. The first was a B-50A, which is seen in some of the early glide flight footage on this disc. This particular aircraft was heavily damaged in the explosion of X-2 number 6675 over Lake Ontario during a captive flight test in 1953 and was ultimately written off as unrepairable. The damaged aircraft was replaced by a B-50D, which was the carrier aircraft used for the majority of the X-2 flight attempts and is the aircraft shown in the footage here. The B-50 was essentially an improved or upgraded version of the B-29 long-range bomber. It began life as the B-29D, but the designation was changed in December 1945. The official reason was that the aircraft had changed significantly from earlier B-29 models, but there's also a school of opinion that holds that the designation change was in order to secure additional funding for the program. In the months and years following the end of World War II, many military development programs were under intense budget pressure, and the Air Force may have considered the redesignation of the B-29 as a way to keep the aircraft off of the fiscal chopping block. 371 B-50 airframes were constructed between 1947 and 1953, and they served in a variety of roles. In addition to serving as a launch platform for the X-2, other B-50s were used as reconnaissance planes, weather observation platforms, and drone directors. The most significant use of the B-50, however, was as an aerial refueling tanker, and some aircraft even served in Southeast Asia during the early years of the Vietnam War. All of the B-50s had retired from Air Force use by 1965. In 1949, a B-50 became the first aircraft to fly non-stop around the world, a task that was achieved by refueling the bomber in flight. Another intriguing aircraft that appears on this DVD in a few spots is the North American TF-86F, which was used as a chase aircraft during the X-2 program. This was a two-place F-86 variant based on the F-86F, and only two were built. It featured a slightly lengthened fuselage, and the wing was set back slightly to help maintain the center of gravity in an appropriate position. The two-place F-86 also had slatted wings to help improve low-speed handling. North American Aviation was eager to grab a piece of the jet trainer market that Lockheed was dominating at the time with their T-33 and designed the TF-86 as a potential competitor. Despite an aggressive marketing campaign aimed at the Air Force, North American never won any orders for the TF-86. One of the two aircraft was destroyed during testing, and the second aircraft, which is the one that appears on this DVD, served as a chase plane for research projects at Edwards for many years and was eventually scrapped.